So you received this paper that looked like a this. You'll notice here, grammatically it was kind of messed up. I didn't realize the spell check didn't check this. So this says what we're going to do is we're going to learn about dimensioning. We're going to do step 2 and 3. We just did step 2, which we drew all the different measurements. And step 3 is now we're going to go through and put our dimensions in. You look over here, we're going to walk through this together. I'm going to do this as another teacher example, but I'm going to let you kind of do your thing, and then I'll kind of support you a little bit. Flip over to the next page. This is when you're with a partner. This is when you can get up, move around a little bit. I'm cool with it. And then last but not least, this is your graded one right here. Okay, so we're going to have plenty of opportunities to make sure that we know what we're doing. Are we good with that? Cool. All right. So what I'm going to do is have this here, and then we have this going on here. What I want to do is I want to show to you what it looks like in the Project Lead the Way content. So if I scroll down here and make this a little bit bigger, smaller, you'll notice that you have this little setup here. So I'm going to walk through this really fast, and then we're going to slow down and do one together, okay? It says create a multiple view drawing. That's what it says right here. It's already provided, so we're good. Multiple view drawing is when there are multiple views. Does anybody know what this is called? Which this is called? Good guess. Not right. Isometric. Very good. Awesome. So we have our multi-view here. Very good. And then we have our isometric here. Very good. So it says make sure you have drawing. We good. I'm going to hit the next dot, and then we're going to go to the next part. It says now count the number of features. Now here's our object. Feature is anything that changes. Okay? So I have here, my feature 1 is this notch. Okay? So that's one feature to the drawing. Feature 2 is like this hole, so it's obviously on different views, but we have a hole here. And then feature 3 is the entire thing. Okay, are we good so far? 3 features. All right, let's go to the next one. It says then, select the best view. Well, it gives you the best view because the best view is going to be our front view, and it's right here. So this is our best view. We want to make sure that that's always in the front. Now, we'll do that when we start programming or designing in CAD. Then I have here that what we're going to do is we're going to dimension object 1 or feature 1. So right up top here is our feature 1, so we're going to put our sizes in. Coolio. And then it says, every feature fully dimensioned? No, we're missing a couple. So it says no, we're going to go back up to the top. We're going to go through the same thing, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to figure out our hole. So we put our hole in, and then we're going to dimension that. Talk about the hidden lines. Are we done yet? No! We need to do an overall dimension. Goes through that. And then we get to this one right here. Now it says here that every view has at least one or more. Does that make sense? Every view has one or more. And you notice that this top view has nothing there. Okay? So what do you think, Emily? What should we do with this top view? It's kind of hard when you're on the phone. It says here that what we want to do is delete the view. Okay, so we're going to delete that view, and then basically we just end up with something like this. Okay, so if our view has no measurements, we can get rid of it. All right, I went through that real quick. Let's take a look at this guy here and see how we should measure this out. Okay, it's a little bit different than the one that you had on your screen, but it's kind of the same concept. Can somebody give me one feature that is on this thing? What's one feature? The notch. Awesome. I'm going to put here number 1. I'm not going to circle it because it's going to get kind of messy. So I'm going to put there the notch is number 1. What's another feature we have? Now, what's another feature we have? The hole. That's going to be our feature number 2. Okay? And then we have everything, right? Number 3 is, of course, the whole kit and caboodle. Okay? We good so far? Say that again? Number 3 is the whole object, right? Number 1 is this notch right here. Number 2 is our hole. Number 3 is the whole thing. What number are you talking about? Number 1 is this right here. Somehow it's notched out. It's like a missing piece. Excellent. Yep. All right. So what we're going to do is in our flow chart, it says the first thing we need to do is identify all the stuff for number 1. And we should identify it on the best view. Which view, top, front, or side, is the best view for our number 1? I think I heard it. Not all at once. Here? Nah? Yeah, our front. Okay, our front view. All right, so what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put, what type of lines is it when you do this? And I would do, I would use pencil. I'm using pen so you guys can see this. What are those lines? They don't touch the object, they go up. Awesome, CJ, extension. Okay, so I'm going to draw my extension lines coming up here. And then I know the width of it. Now I need to know the height of my object. Remember, we're only focusing on the notch here. So I put my extension lines there. All right. Now we need to put our measurements in. Now, if I take a look at my scale here at the bottom, it says for every 2 blocks, it's 1 inch. Let's see who's really smart. All right, I think Casey's really smart. She's already calculating with her phone. So we have here a block and a half. If 2 blocks is 1 inch, what's a block and a half? What's 1 block worth? If 2 is 1 inch, what's a half then? Oh, I gave you the answer. 1 is a half. Very good. And then we have a half of a half. You know what that is? A quarter. So we're going to put down in here 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to use my ruler, and I'm going to draw in my dimension like this. Now, Mr. Sesky, don't my arrows go inside? Why do you think I put them on the outside? Gus, why do you think I put my arrows on the outside here instead of the inside? What do you think, Landry? Excellent. I don't have really room for those arrows, so I'm going to put them on the outside so that way it shows that inside this tiny space is 3/4 of an inch. Excellent. So I'm going to do now my top here, my width. So let's count the blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is an easy. This is a softball pitch. How many inches is it? 2 inches. Very good. So I'm going to write in here 2. I'm going to use my ruler and draw. What are these lines again? Not extension lines, dimension lines. Excellent, thank you. Okay, we're missing one more measurement for this little notch out. Who thinks they know what measurement we're missing? There's it has 3 different views. It can be 3D. So we have the length and the height. What don't we have? The width or the depth. Very good. So I'm going to put my extension lines going up here, and extension lines going up here, and my depth is going to be 2 blocks or 1 inch. I have enough room to put that 1 inch in there, so I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to put my dimension lines like so and like so. We are done number 1. We gave the 3 dimensions needed. Yes. Sure. There you go. You're welcome. All right, let's look at dimension 2, because we always do, in that flow chart, we always do the whole thing last. So our second object that we have is this circle. Now we're going to have some different lines that are going to pop up. So let's see here. What do we need what should we do with this circle? Let's take a look here, and let's see what they had in the example here. So what do we have to put in our circle? Or do with our circle? What do we need? Yeah. What's that? Oh, I thought that was like, I got you. No. Help us out. Ms. Atkins, what do we need to do? Look at this circle here. What do we need to put in the circle? What type of markings do we have to do? Excellent. So you said there's a center line, I heard. Go ahead. A leader line. Awesome. I like it. You got 2 of the 3 so far. The center mark. Very good. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. So when I come over here to my circle, this is what you're going to do. You're going to make like a little, I guess, like a plus sign or a cross. And then from there, you're going to have a space and up, space and down, just like this. Okay. That's our center mark, okay? So what is that telling me? That's telling me that if I need to drill a hole in this block, where do I put the drill bit? I don't care where the edges is. I want to know exactly dead center. The second thing it also is going to let me do is this arrowy thingy. And what's this arrowy thingy mean? What is that called, that arrowy thingy? Leader line, excellent. And the leader line is going to tell us the diameter of their circle. So if I look here, it's kind of hard to tell. So I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to hold it straight up. You can see that it's a half of a block from here to here, and half a block from here to here. So it is 1 full block wide, which is a half of an inch. Okay, now I could put this dimension line up here or over here. It's not really the best thing. You usually want it where the hole is. Now Ms. Atkins talked about another thing. She said we need a center line. So I'm going to take the center of my circle, and I'm going to do a center line, which is a long dash, long dash, long. So there's my center line, and if I come straight up here, there's another center line, long dash, long dash. So it looks something like that. And they obviously gave us our hidden lines. All right, so figure 1, we're done. We did that. We don't have to worry about that. We have the hole. I know the diameter of our hole, but what is our location of our hole? How could we do this? How could we do our location? Well, we're going to need some things to know. We're going to need to know some things, I should say. First of all, I need to know how far over and how far up. Does that make sense? So over here, maybe I don't have enough room for the over part. So maybe I'm going to come from here. I'm going to use my straight edge. And from that edge to here, I'm going to use my extension line, and it's 2 blocks, which is 1 inch. And then I'm going to put my dimension lines in. Okay, so now I know how far over it is. I don't know how far up it is. So looking at this drawing, you can put this wherever you want, but I really don't have room over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this view over here. I'm going to come like this, and like this, and it comes up a half of a block, which in our case is going to be 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so I'm going to repeat myself as you're doing this. You may not need it repeated, but I'm just going to say it again. So the first thing is we figured out the diameter. I need to know how far over it goes. So I said it's going to be 1 inch over. I can put it where I could put it here, but I really didn't have room. I need to figure out how high I need to put the hole, and I decided to do it over here, which is 1/4 of an inch. We are done. Actually, we're not done. How far back does it go? And we know it goes 1 inch because it goes through the wood. So we're good to go with that guy. Easy peasy, cotton cheesy? I don't know why I say that. My 6th grade teacher always would say that. What it meant, or how, I had no clue. All right, you ready? Now we need to do our overall shape. Do we know our height of our overall shape? What's the height? What's our height? Take a look here. How many blocks up is it? 1, 2. It's 3 blocks. Now on here it says for every 2 blocks it's 1 inch. So what's that? Awesome sauce. So I'm going to take this, and I should have my measurements over here, but there's not enough room. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do my extension line. My extension line. I'm going to do 1 1/2 inch. Okay, awesome. So I know my height here. What is my width? What is my width? Kelly, what's my width? Tell me, figure out my width for me. What is it? Okay, so you're doing this as your width? Okay, that's fine. So I usually call that the depth, but that's fine. Okay, so we're going to come off here. My extension lines. I'm going to do 1. And then I'm going to put my dimension lines in. Like so. And so what is this measurement from here to here? Mindy, what's our measurement from here to here? You are correct, Munde. So I am going to, I can put it here, or I could put it up above. I'm going to just put it on my front view. I like to try to keep everything on my front view. So I'm going to extend that. I'm going to put 3 inches and then put my dimension lines. Okay. All right, now if I go to my flow chart, it says, did you dimension all your components? Did you dimension the overall component? And we did that. And then it says, is there any view that doesn't have any marks? And all of our views have marks. So it says, then you're done. Cool? Easy peasy. Awesome. All right. So let's look at this one. I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to put this one back up in a moment. I'm going to walk around and help anybody that needs help. But over here, let's figure out how many figures or items we have here. So can somebody tell me one item we have? Yes. What's that? Which one? Big one, little one? All right, so we're going to start with this one as number 1. So we're going to dimension that first. What else we got? Ryan, what else we got? The little baby hole. Okay, that's going to be our number 2. And then we're all done, so we're going to do then the third thing, the entire setup. You'll notice that they didn't give you a view over here because you don't need it. Okay, we would actually cancel it out. So start with 1, go to 2, then do your overall. I'm going to give you about 5 to 6 minutes to do it yourself. I don't expect it to be done, but be pretty close. And then we'll come back, check everybody's work. We'll get you in groups of 2 if you like to work in groups of 2. You guys can do that, and then we'll go to our last one. All right? Okay. Here. The first figure, which is the big one. So let's make sure we're all good with this. And if you're struggling with it, you need to lend me your ear. If you think you got it, just check yourself. All right, so here we go. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to come across like so. And I've counted my blocks. And my block says 1 1/2 of an inch. Okay, so that is my diameter. So I'm going to put that 0 with a line through it. That means my diameter is 1 1/2 inch. Now I need to know how tall my object is. So I need to know how high do I put the drill bit. So I'm going to come across here, and I'm going to come across here, and it's going to be 1 inch. Kendrick said, he's like, I can't fit it in there. So remember, you can always do it like this. So now I know that I'm going to get a drill bit with a diameter of 1 1/2. I'm going to make sure that it is 1 inch up, and I'm going to make sure that it's something over. So I got to figure out my over number. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to use my extension lines here. And I got 1 1/2. And that's what we've got there. Okay, so the last thing I need to know is how deep it goes. And it goes as deep as my block of wood or whatever it is. And that is 1 inch. Okay, so now I know my dimension of my circle. I know how high it has to go and how far over it has to go. And I drill the hole. I'm done, number 1. Okay. Let's make sure you can do the next one, the next hole, the same way. Again, I need my height, my width, location of it, and all that stuff. I'll give you a couple of minutes and I'll go over that one. We just completed number 1. Let's take a look at number 2's hole. Can somebody walk me through what you're thinking on this and what should we do? Somebody help me out. I don't want to talk. My voice is going. Tyler, what do you got, man? What do you got? What's one thing we need to do? This number 2 piece. What's that? There's a hole. So what do we got to do with that hole? Take a look at what we did with this hole and this hole up here. What's it? What's the center, what is it called again? Center. What's that line called? That's our leader line. We got our center line there. So our leader line, so we're going to say what is our diameter of this guy. And if you take a look, it's a half a block to center, half a block to there. That's 1 full block, which ends up being a 1/2 of an inch. And again, we're going to use that 0 with the line through it representing our diameter. Okay, now I have this, let's say, block of wood here. I'm going to drill a 1/2 inch drill bit down through this, but I need to know where it goes. So what do I need to put in here? CJ, what you got, man? What do we got to do? So we know that the diameter of the circle, but I'm not sure where to put the circle. So what measurement do you think I need? What's that? Not quite sure. Help them out. Aiden, what do you got? What's our measurements that we need here? Right here? All right, so I need to know how far, if this is my block of wood, how far in do I go, right? And what I'm going to do is measure here to my center. I should be using a straight edge for my extension lines. If I take a look here, it's a block and a half. That gives me 1 1/4 of an inch to there. Okay, so if this is my block of wood, I'm saying I'm drilling down here 1 1/4 of an inch from the edge here. What about this way? I'm gonna go to Kendrick because he got this. What do we gotta do? So I know how far it has to go in. What do I have to do? What's our other measurement we need for it? Okay, so this measurement here, which is from this to here. So I need to figure out how far into the wood does it go this way. And in this case here, it's kind of tight. I probably should have not put this here, but we'll roll with it. It is 3/4 of an inch. And this was not the best placement. If it was me, I probably would have put this measurement down here. I like to try to keep my views on the front view, but somehow I got drawn to there. So this is 3/4 of an inch from here to here. So if this is my block of wood, 3/4 of an inch to here, and then I'm saying over here, 1 1/4 in. Okay, that's where I would drill. Yeah. You're number 4 in line. Okay. Once I'm done that, I need to know the depth. And my depth, I can put right here my extension lines. And my depth is 2, 4, 5, which is, was that 2 1/2 inches. I'd use my ruler, make extension lines, make extension lines. I've done everything for my hole, I'm done. The last thing I need to check off is my overall object. Well, guess what, folks? This overall object is 2.5 inches tall, already done. My width is 1 inch, already done. All I need now is my, my width here in my front view. So I'll bring it up like this, bring it up like this, and that gives me 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. And I know I went kind of quick on that one, but ultimately I just counted them out and looked at the scale and determined that measurement. I am done number 3. Guys, it's not that hard when you just focus on one at a time. If you look at all of them and you bounce around, that's where it gets kind of confusing. Does that make sense, folks? Okay, this is what I would like you to do. For this back page, you're welcome to get up, move around a little bit. I would like you to, in a second, give me a second, let's mark this up together, okay? Let's take a look at the features. This I'm going to call feature 1. This notch out is number 1, so I'd like everybody to put feature 1 there. The second notch out, which is right there, I'm going to put as number 2. And then my overall is number 3. Does that make sense? So I'm going to start here with this notch, and it transfers over here. The second one, I'm going to start here, transfers over here, and then I'm going to do the whole thing. Okay? And again, they got rid of this view because you can fit them all on these 2 views. All right, you're welcome to get up and move around, folks.